Engine failure from a United Airlines flight. Falling debris scattered across Colorado neighborhoods. We bring you the images of the wreckage.
Temperatures off to a pretty chilly start, especially out there in the thumb, but we'll be warming up today. I'll have that in just a little bit.
And preserving the joy of reading. After books were lost in floods, we share one woman's effort to replenish families' book collections. It's time to wake up Mid-Michigan. It is Sunday, February 21st.
With coverage you can count on, this is WNEMTV5 News.
Alrighty, happy Sunday. I hope it's all a good morning for all of you. We're having a great morning here on TV5, trying to stay warm and awake with some coffee. Hopefully you're awake as well. Thanks for hanging out with us. I'm Blake Keller, also joined here by TV5's Matthew Mondro, and we just saw that sun coming in nice and hot. I hope there's lots more sun here today.
There will be for the first part of the day.
Okay, I'll take it.
So at least we'll get some sun today, but we're taking a live look at the first Warn 5 pinpoint Doppler live from MBS. We're starting off dry. It's really a beautiful morning out there. We're seeing some sun, but it is cold out there. Now we are tracking this low pressure on the sky tracker. That's out in the plains right now. That's going to be bringing us snow and possibly a mix of even some rain early tomorrow morning for that morning commute, so we're keeping an eye on that. As far as temperatures though, we really cleared out over the thumb overnight, so those temperatures starting out right now are very cold. Sub-zero, -7 in Caro, -4 in Bad Axe. And up on the north side of the bay, we're still looking at 2 in Oscoda there and 9 in East Tawas. But if you're headed out, make sure you're bundled up because those feels like temperatures are pretty cold as well. -11 in Oscoda, 4 in Caseville, -7 in Caro and -6 in Lapeer. And as for the next 12 hours, we'll see cloud coverage building in. So at least we'll have sun for the first part of today, but temperatures will at least be breaking that 30-degree mark, Blake. So I'm ready for the warmer temperatures. Well, I guess we'll say, air quote, relatively warmer temperatures today. Well, Blake, we'll send it back to you.
All right, Matthew, definitely got to have those air quotes. Thank you. Developing this morning, though, a United Airlines passenger jet headed to Honolulu landed safely in Denver after suffering engine failure just moments after takeoff. There was concern on the ground as parts of that plane fell around neighborhoods miles away. Danya Backus with the very latest.
Mayday, mayday.
United Flight 328 turned back safely to Denver after suffering an engine failure and dropping debris on the ground below shortly after takeoff.
Departure United 328 heavy mayday aircraft just experienced engine failure, need a turn immediately.
This video posted on social media apparently shows the engine on fire. The Boeing 777 en route to Honolulu returned to Denver International Airport, where it was met by emergency crews as a precaution. The incident sparked initial alarm as parts of the aircraft rained down on Broomfield, Colorado, just over 20 miles from the airport.
As soon as I got a clear look at it, I could tell it was the front end of an engine, a jet engine, and my first thought was that the whole plane was coming down. You know, you just don't think that that big of a hunk of engine is going to come off.
Parts landed in yards, on a ball field in the street in a few neighborhoods, and apparently through the roof of a home.
The debris was so far and wide. If you find debris in your home, near your home, in your neighborhood, please don't touch it. Please don't move it. Just leave it there. Call dispatch.
The jet plane was carrying 231 passengers and 10 crew members. No injuries were reported on board or on the ground. The National Transportation Safety Board has opened an investigation. Danya Backus, CBS News.
Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg says the incident is very concerning at a time he wants to maximize a sense of safety for an industry needing financial support. Across Michigan, Governor Gretchen Whitmer declared a state of energy emergency to ensure adequate propane distribution over the coming days. In a statement, Whitmer says with many states experiencing consistent cold, the demand for energy has increased significantly, putting a strain on the nation's energy infrastructure. In an effort to reduce the strain, the order will temporarily suspend restrictions on commercial driver hours to allow immediate delivery of energy to homes and businesses. An Army veteran in Ohio is accused of scaling the Mackinac Bridge to take photos. Last November, state police began investigating a case of felony trespassing after photos on social media showed a man climbing the bridge. Isaac Wright of Cincinnati was arraigned Thursday for felony trespass. Now, Wright was already jailed in Ohio for breaking into a Cincinnati skyscraper. A Mid-Michigan woman is on a meaningful mission to help those who lost their belongings in last year's historic floods. Angela Cole is gathering all sorts of books for families with children in Sanford who lost books in the flood. Her goal is to get at least 10 books to each family. Now it's a cause close to her heart after a house fire 30 years ago destroyed books belonging to her 3 sons. Now she says this is about more than just books.
It's about the memories, the treasures of reading those books to your children and their favorite page and their favorite words and their favorite pictures.
Now, if you want to help, they're looking for new and gently used books or money and gift cards. They're collecting through March 27th. You can find contact information to the places taking those donations on our website, WNEM.com. Very good right there. TV5 News time, though, is reaching 8:07. Still ahead at 8:30, COVID cases are on the decline after promising progress in the vaccine rollout. Winter storms, though, still causing delays across the country. A look at how far we've fallen behind. Coming up later, days after deadly winter storms, Texans still struggling with a lack of food and water. How people across the country are showing support. Stick around, we have so much more coming up after the break. More local news now. 2 local students awarded a total of $9,000 from the Department of Michigan Veterans of Foreign Wars. Noah Bresser and Chloe Pan are district and state winners of the Voice of Democracy essay contest and received praise for their achievements.
We're taking the time out to honor the 2 winners that will represent the state of Michigan. And I'm happy to say they come from out of District 9, my district.
Awesome. Very good. Very cool for them. Now the students will represent the state of Michigan in Washington, D.C. and have a shot at winning over $30,000 just in scholarships to further their education. Sending them lots of luck. Anglers competing for the biggest catch this weekend. The 4th annual Great Saginaw River Shiver Walleye Contest now underway. Competitors will have a week to reel in the big one and have a chance to win a cash prize. Now they even offered TV5 some tips for hitting the ice.
Patience, man, patience, and you got to keep going at it. And I mean, it's a Saginaw River; it's changing every day. They could be in one spot one day and another the next.
All right, good to know. The contest ends next Sunday. This year, anyone who enters the contest will also get a free gift. About patience, though, can't do it. I don't have any, but definitely a very cool experience otherwise. TV5 News time right now is reaching 8:11. Up ahead, a heartbreaking reality for thousands of youth in foster care. Now there's a place to transform after trauma. We share their journey of hope and healing. Democratic lawmakers call for investigations into the massive power failures in Texas after being battered by winter storms. Who the governor says is to blame. A live look right now over Birch Run this morning along I-75. That sunrise coming in nice and beautiful right there. Roads are looking good as well, just a bit chilly. Matthew joins us with your full weather forecast coming up after the break. President Joe Biden has declared a major disaster in 77 Texas counties as residents continue to struggle in the aftermath of a deadly winter storm. As Michael George reports, food and water remain in short supply even days after the storm.
We're going to roll up our sleeves and go work.
Texas Representative Sylvia Garcia demanded answers as she volunteered at a Houston food bank Saturday with her colleagues, Sheila Jackson Lee and New York's Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Texans do not want to go through this again. They want accountability. They want to know why the system failed and, quite frankly, almost broke.
Garcia is calling for an independent investigation into massive power failures after the winter storm left millions in the dark and cold, many lacking food and water.
5 days before the winter storm hit, ERCOT assured that, quote, "We are ready for the cold temperatures coming our way."
Texas Governor Greg Abbott Friday seemed to blame ERCOT, the nonprofit cooperative that manages almost all of the Texas power grid.
We will be looking in Washington for a full federal investigation.
Many Texans remain under advisory to boil tap water before drinking it.
I have no water coming in my home whatsoever. I've got 6 little ones that I need to take care of.
Houston officials are testing water samples.
We'll be able to
determine whether or not we have any bacteria growth in the system, and we'll be able to lift that boil water notice as soon as we get the all clear.
Here we go. Mission, Dallas, Texas.
As the weekend arrived, so did help from thousands of miles away. Charity workers from a Jewish organization in New Jersey drove through the night to deliver traditional Friday night Shabbat meals for a Dallas congregation. Michael George, CBS News.
All right, here back at home, a live look over Saginaw. Looking good on this Sunday morning, definitely seeing all of that sunshine. And we are staying dry for the most part. That sun making all the difference yesterday, Matthew, and hopefully today as well. But I know it's going to change, huh?
Absolutely, and yesterday was a beautiful day.
Yeah.
I was walking around outside for a little while without a jacket on even. Felt warm in the sun.
I was going to say, you're more brave than I am. I at least had my jacket, but I got to leave it zipped open instead of zipped closed. So.
There you go. But the sun and the clear skies are going to remain for the first half of today. By the time we get towards the afternoon, that cloud coverage really starts to build in. But we're taking a live look outside in downtown Flint right now, and it's a beautiful morning. Plenty of blue sky there. Really a beautiful Sunday morning here in February. And it is a cold one, though. We're looking at 8 degrees. Feels like 2 below because of that 6-mile-per-hour wind. So if you're headed out, just make sure you're bundled up this morning. But on the First Warn 5 Pinpoint Doppler live from MBS, it is clear and dry around all of the area, and again, that will be continuing for the first part of today. Now we're looking at this low pressure on the sky tracker here. This is down in the plains. That'll move up into mid-Michigan as we get into the later evening and the early overnight hours tonight. That'll be bringing us our next round of snow and possibly even a mix. I'll show you that on the hour by hour in just a second here. But as for the first part of today, we're looking at clear skies really for the morning, and even by the late morning hours will still be clear, nice and beautiful. By the time we get towards lunch, though, that's when we start to see this cloud cover move in. That's going to be coming in from the west as the system starts to approach. Now by dinner time tonight, we're looking at mostly cloudy skies for all of us. And then by around 10 o'clock tonight, that early overnight or late evening, if you're still up, that's when that snow is really going to start to move in from the west, really affecting our US 127 counties here first. And then by 2 o'clock, we're looking at widespread snow for all of the region. It is going to be a lighter snow shower, and the snow, because our temperature will be in the upper 20s, around 30, it's not going to be a light, fluffy snow. It's going to be a little more of a heavier, wet snow. Now, by the time we get to your morning drive tomorrow, we are still looking at that precipitation hanging around. And I think this model is underestimating the precipitation type just a little bit. We're thinking that we're going to see some mix and maybe even some rain along our I-69 counties here in the early morning. And by around 8 o'clock, by the end of that morning commute, we'll still be looking at some of that precipitation hanging around as well. So as for totals, we're not looking at much. This isn't much for us here in Michigan, mainly just 1 to 2 in the thumb and anywhere south of the Tri-Cities, but further up north and west, we're looking at around 1 to 3. Now, our current thinking here is 1 to 3 most likely overall when it's all said and done. Some places could see 4 at most, but it's going to lead to that slow go tomorrow morning. As for today, we'll look at highs getting up into the lower 30s, and by later on tonight, not as frigid, only a low of around 27 degrees, but those snow showers all night and that chance of that AM mix. We've got 36 tomorrow, 40 on Tuesday. I'm happy to put 40 in the 7-day, but then temperatures begin to cool off back towards the 30s towards the end of the week, but at least we'll be dry for the second half of next week, Blake.
All right, sounds good, Matthew. Thank you for all of that. TV5 News time is 8:19. Still ahead, Kroger faces a data breach, the sensitive information that may have been stolen. And coming up next, a 13-year-old boy returning home after a 5-month-long stint in the hospital. How his family is preparing for his return home. But first, as we brave these freezing temperatures, stay warm this weekend with this comforting, savory sundae. It's not what you think. Today's recipe is from Better Homes and Gardens, owned by TV5's parent company, the Meredith Corporation. After 5 months of recovering, a local boy is finally heading home. Now, back in September, we reported a young boy suffered a brain bleed after a motorbike crash. In this TV5 follow-up, his family tells Kendall Keys, after everything he's been through, they're just happy he's alive.
5 months ago, a tragic motocross accident changed 13-year-old Brevin Wilford's life forever.
We didn't think he was going to make it out alive.
The accident left him with a brain bleed so severe, it's a miracle he's alive.
I think it was about halfway through the surgery, and the surgeon actually came out and went up to my mom and said, we don't think that he's going to make it. But he's a fighter.
Fighting against the odds, it's a recovery that nobody saw coming. His sister, Micaiah, has been right by his side every step of the way.
My older brother is the biggest fighter ever.
Through daily therapy sessions, Brevin had to relearn how to breathe, speak,
Yes!
and walk.
He does speech therapy, physical therapy, occupational therapy. They were telling us that they've never seen anybody come out of a brain injury and speak so like vocalized, and just, it wasn't slurred. It was just amazing.
But now his recovery journey will conclude from the comfort of his home. After spending the entire holiday season, including his 13th birthday in hospice, he's ready.
He's all there mentally. He's the same Brevin that he was before, so that's the most exciting part, I would have to say. He's still got the same Spitfire personality that he had before the accident.
And his sisters, they're ready for their baby brother to come home.
I'm just excited for Brevin to get home. He's my little hero.
In Gladwin County, I'm Kendall Keys, WNEMTV5.
Making great strides right there. Listen to this. Coming up on Tuesday, a parade will be held in Gladwin to welcome Brevin home. So glad to hear that he's doing just fine. TV5 News time is 8:26. Next at 8:30, tourism on the rise as more Americans travel to resorts in Mexico. How the CDC is trying to prevent the next COVID hotspot.
Our next system is on the way, currently down in the plains, but that'll be here later on tonight. We'll talk more about totals coming up in just a little bit.
You're watching TV5 Wake Up, serving Freeland, Auburn, Grand Blanc, and your hometown too. It's coverage you can count on.
With coverage you can count on, this is WNEMTV5 News.
Hello, happy Sunday and good morning. We are up, caffeinated, and looking to keep warm. The chill is definitely hanging around mid-Michigan this morning. Here's a live look at Birch Run, looking good at this hour. Not a bad start for traffic. That sun coming in nice and bright. Thanks for waking up with us. Today is February 21st. I'm Blake Keller. TV5's Matthew Mondro is also here in the First Warn 5 Weather Center. And Matthew, it is chilly, but that sun is so beautiful. Is today a decent day to get outside?
A decent day for the first half.
Okay.
If you're looking for the sun, we'll be dry most of the day, but
Nice.
the cloud coverage starts to move in the afternoon.
Bummer.
Yeah, but as we saw on the Birch Run cam there, it's really a beautiful morning, plenty of blue skies, and we're taking a look at the sky tracker, and that's showing those clear and dry conditions for us there in the mitten. And we're looking at this low pressure that's off in the plains. That'll be bringing us our next round of precipitation. Snow tonight, possibly a mix of rain and snow early tomorrow morning. Now, with those blue skies and the clouds clearing out early this morning, that's really dropped our temperatures. Look at that there in the thumb. At Caro, we're 22 degrees lower than this same time yesterday. In Lapeer, 24 degrees colder than this same time yesterday. So temperatures right now are still sub-zero for many places in the thumb. Caro, you're at -3. Lapeer at -5. Bad Axe, you're at -4. But the rest of us, especially north and west, we're getting up into the mid-teens already. But those feels like temperatures are something we're still keeping an eye on for right now this morning. -15 there in Bad Axe, -3 in Caro, and -3 in Port Hope. Excuse me. So really, it's cold if you're out in the thumb at all this morning. And for the next 5 hours, we'll see temperatures ramping up. We'll be close to 30 degrees by 1 o'clock today, but that cloud coverage will be building in as we get into the midday and early afternoon hours as well, Blake. So it's going to be a beautiful and a dry day, and we'll see temperatures getting up close to 30 degrees.
All right, I'll take it, Matthew. Thank you very much. Close to 42 million people in the U.S. have received at least one COVID-19 vaccine dose, bringing the daily case count down 64% from the all-time high that was set back on January 2nd. Winter storms caused 3 days of shipment delays due to snowed-in delivery workers, road closures, and power outages at more than 2,000 vaccine sites. Now that's 6 million doses, according to the White House COVID response team, who says it's impacting all 50 states.
The weather delays may actually play a role. We had been estimating moving into phase 1B on a statewide basis, keeping in mind some counties may not be ready to do that beginning mid to March.
According to a new poll, there is still reluctance to get vaccinated, with 1/3 of the population saying they don't accept the vaccine. Senator Ted Cruz is taking heat for his trip to Mexico during the deadly winter storms in Texas. But he's not alone. Thousands of Americans are also flocking to Cancun, creating a potential COVID hotspot. The Quintana Roo Tourism Board says just over 2 million Americans visited last year. That's down about half from before the pandemic. But this February and March, available flight seats are up almost 10% compared to 2020, despite the CDC's highest level warning to avoid all travel to Mexico.
Mexico has become our #1 international destination. In fact, we grew about 200% in our business into Mexico.
The CDC has ordered air travelers to provide proof that they've tested negative for COVID no more than 3 days before flying to the U.S., and that includes Americans returning home. Russia has approved its third coronavirus vaccine for domestic use. The vaccine was developed by the Federal Scientific Center for Research and Biological Products. The government says the first doses would be in circulation by mid-March. Now, Russia has already approved 2 COVID-19 vaccines, including the Sputnik V vaccine. All right, TV5 News Time right now is reaching 8:35. Once written off teens, now able to write their own futures. Their brighter outlook because of a program in mid-Michigan, the first of its kind in the state. Their journey of hope and healing next. In dollars and cents this morning, Kroger is warning customers of a data breach in its clinic pharmacy service. The breach did not impact grocery data, but could have involved personal health and insurance information used at the pharmacy. Kroger says there was unauthorized access to a software they use. No credit or debit card data was stolen, but there is a potential risk of identity theft. Kroger says it's in the process of reaching out to affected customers and will provide free credit monitoring to anyone affected. El Abuelito is recalling all its fresh, soft cheese products with sell-by dates through March 28th. The products could be contaminated with listeria. That's a bacteria that can cause symptoms such as high fever, headache, and abdominal pain. It's especially dangerous for young children, the elderly, and pregnant women. The CDC says at least 7 people have been infected in 4 states. So if you have any of these products in your fridge, please don't eat them and return them to the store for a refund.
And now your First Warn 5 forecast, certified most accurate by Weather Rate.
Good Sunday morning to you, Mid-Michigan. It is 8:46, and we're off to a beautiful start this morning. It's continuing that trend from yesterday. We're taking a live look in downtown Flint right now. Blue skies, clear skies. It's really a beautiful morning, but don't let that fool you, though. It is pretty cold out there. 8 degrees in Flint, feels like -2 because of that 6-mile-per-hour wind. So just make sure you bring the layers with you if you're headed out at all this morning. Now, on the First Warn 5 Pinpoint Doppler live from MBS, we are looking at these really dry conditions throughout the state right now and clear. It's a beautiful start to our Sunday. Now, on the Sky Tracker, we are tracking this low pressure that's down in the plains here. That's going to be coming up to mid-Michigan later on tonight. That'll be around the late evening to early overnight hours, and that will be bringing us our next round of snow. And dare I say it, even a slight chance of a rain and snow mix tomorrow morning. Now, I'll show you that in just a second, but on the hour by hour, we are looking at clear conditions this morning and into the midday hours as well. By around 1 o'clock, though, that late lunchtime, that's when these clouds start to really move in from the west as the system approaches. Now, by dinner time, we are looking at mostly cloudy skies for all of us, and then around 10 o'clock, that's when that snow is really going to start to make its way in to our 127 counties and make its way east throughout the overnight hours. Now, by around 2 o'clock overnight, it is going to be a pretty widespread snow. It will be a light snow nonetheless. We're not talking about much as far as accumulations. And for that morning commute tomorrow morning, especially along I-69 here, we're thinking that we're going to see a little bit of a mix and maybe even some rain. So we're keeping our eye on that, and we'll keep you updated as we get more information on that as well. And as for the end of that morning commute, we're still looking for some of that precipitation to really hang around here in the Thumb area, anywhere east of I-75. Now, as for snow totals, we're not talking about much, about 1 to 2 in the Thumb and for anywhere really south of the Tri-Cities. But then as for our northern counties and anywhere off to our west, we're looking at about 1 to 3. But overall, our main thinking here is about 1 to 3 when everything is said and done. Some places could see up to 4 inches, but that's still going to mean a slow go tomorrow morning for that morning commute. So as for today, though, pretty nice. We're looking at highs in the low 30s. We're getting close to that freezing mark, but then as for tonight, temperature's not as cold. We're looking at a low around 27 degrees. Those snow showers and that chance of that wintry mix tomorrow morning, mainly south. We're looking at 36 tomorrow, 40 on Tuesday, and then 37 Wednesday as temperatures begin to trend back towards 30 by the end of the week. But at least we'll be dry, Blake. So I'm looking forward to the 40 on Tuesday, that's for sure.
I'll tell you what, I'll agree with you. I'm looking forward to all of those temperatures. It definitely beats those sub-zero temperatures we're seeing lately. Thanks, Matthew. TV5 News time, though, right now is 8:49. Works of art one town is enjoying. We'll show you the snow masterpieces Olympians made for a Wisconsin museum. But first, here's your local Steals and Deals with Lisa Robertson. Alrighty, check this out. Olympic snow sculptors are in Wisconsin this weekend building a snow masterpiece for a museum in Wausau. This is the 31st year Team USA is creating a sculpture for the Woodson Art Museum. They are sculpting penguins for its Birds and Art exhibit. And as you can imagine, those works of art don't stick around for very long. Their past sculptures have lasted anywhere from 1 day to 1 month. Now, the Olympians say it all depends, of course, on Mother Nature. But getting a glimpse of that, it looks pretty good. They do some great work out there, Matthew.
It is pretty cool. I mean, I think that the skill level to do something like that is just, it's off the charts, really, honestly.
And you have to do it in cold weather, so
exactly. You have to have the weather to work out for it.
Yeah, well. And how's our weather working out for us today?
Well, for the next 7 days, we're looking at pretty good conditions as far as temperatures go. We'll hit 40 on Tuesday. We're looking at temperatures trending back towards 30 by the second half of next week. We do have this system tonight into tomorrow morning and a quick round of mix on Tuesday morning and Wednesday morning. So Blake, we'll send it back to you.
All right, Matthew, thank you. Looks good. And thank you all for hanging out with us this morning. It was fun. Keep warm out there and enjoy the rest of your Sunday.